Hey, hello everybody. This is Mike Feldbauer coming to you from the Flagler Voice podcast studios here in Palm Coast. And today in the studio, we have a couple of special guests. And they're special let me tell you my feeling. We're special because they're a county organization that is out there helping everybody in preparing for disasters, in keeping people safe and healthy. And those who need extra help, they're out there for doing that. So this morning in the studio, okay, we have Jonathan Lord. Your title is?
Emergency Management Director.
Okay, Emergency Management Director. And I've met Jonathan a few times at some other meetings, whether he remembers me or not, I don't know. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, but we have over the years. And the person that actually got us involved in wanting to do this podcast is Kelly, and pronounce your last name for me?
Steffens.
Kelly Steffens, who came and spoke at the Palm Coast Business Professional Networking Group and talked about the preparedness and what they're doing to help people get ready for our up-and-coming, hopefully non-hurricane season.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Or any other thing that might happen. So we decided that it may be good because we have an additional audience that other avenues don't get out to. And the more information that we can get out to our community, the safer our community will be. We're not going to be the only one, but the more people that can get out there and bring this information to our public, we feel that's going to be the safest way to go. So
we truly appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah. So, Jonathan, we're going to start with you. Okay. Give us a little background, how you got involved, how long you've been part of this organization in our community. I know it's been more than a day and a half.
Yeah, a little more.
Yeah.
So I've been in Flagler County 8 years, give or take.
Okay.
As the emergency management chief or director. The titles change every time. It means the same thing. It's just semantics. But I've been doing emergency management full-time since 2004. Before that, I had a career in emergency medical services. So I spent a lot of time on an ambulance and became a chief in a department up in New Jersey, and then got tired of shoveling snow and went job hunting and said, I need to find somewhere further south. As a child, I lived in Florida for a couple of years. So Florida was the goal.
Okay.
And actually, my first job in emergency management was I hired as entry-level emergency manager in the end of 2003, started in 2004 from Miami-Dade County. Little tiny county in South Florida.
Yeah. One of those places that no one's ever heard of.
Never. So I spent, in South Florida, I spent about 13 years down there before going up to Tallahassee and working for the state as the deputy director of emergency management under Governor Scott, under his second term. And then as that term was coming to an end, a couple of big things happened. Michael and Irma had happened. I was in Tallahassee at the time. I actually spent a couple of weeks in Irma down in the Florida Keys, helping Monroe County out. And I realized how much I missed local government. Because local government, you get to interact directly with the residents.
Yeah.
State government does big, beautiful, great things, supports 67 counties and hundreds of municipalities, but you don't deal with the residents directly. And from growing up in a small community in New Jersey where I could literally walk down Main Street, I truly had a Main Street, and I walked down.
Yeah. I grew up in New York, and I grew up in a city that had Main Street. I grew up on Main Street.
And at the time, I hated that because if I got in trouble, my parents knew before I got home.
You betcha.
But I also, as you get older, you start appreciating that. And being a part of the community, I was part of the volunteer emergency medical services agency, fire department there. So I miss some of that, and I miss being involved. I've always been in government. I've never not worked for government. So having that direct interaction with local government, because of Irma and Matthew, I actually learned a lot about Flagler County because they were impacted. Flagler County was impacted by both storms, and I saw the community feel of Flagler County with all the volunteerism that came out. And that's inherent to, and every county has volunteers, don't get me wrong. But because we have a high percentage of active retirees, because that's what Flagler attracts primarily, right? We can't deny that. It increases active retirees, means a greater pool of volunteers because people have more time and the ability to do things like that. So that really intrigued me. So when I knew Flagler County was looking for somebody, and I actually did the old-fashioned thing. I actually wrote an old-fashioned letter to the county administrator at the time and said, hey, I know you're not hiring yet, but you're going to be. This is who I am. I'm interested.
Well, that's good.
A lost art.
No, yes, you do. And Ms. Kelly, what brought you into it? And I heard some of this at our previous meeting, but I think it's good for the public to know who's out there helping them.
Yeah, my history is a little shorter. I was born in New York, but we moved here when I was 3, so I got to claim a little bit of New York.
Okay.
But moved to Palm Coast when I was 3, so I've been here ever since. I went to college locally again at Embry-Riddle, and I majored in Homeland Security. And at that time, I think 2023, I took a class in emergency management, found out about it, what it was. And I was like, I'd really love to do an internship in emergency management. And so I reached out and I emailed, I think it was you, Jonathan, and Ryan.
Yeah.
I shot an email, shot a Hail Mary, and I was like, hey, are you taking any interns? And luckily I was able to intern for that summer as part of the program. And then a year later, I got a call from Ryan saying, hey, would you be interested if we did some rearranging? Would you be interested in applying for a position and attempting to get it? And I said, absolutely. And so I was hired a little over a year ago after I graduated in 24.
That's excellent. It's so important that a lot of the people like you have the ability to find internships, because that means you've got some experience in the beginning, okay?
Yeah.
It will confirm your desire to stay in that realm, and it makes a big advantage to the employer that you have some experience before you come in. I mean, you'll have to get more and more and more, but that's for me, that's an extremely important factor in it.
It was also very exciting for us to be able to hire a local resident, someone that basically grew up in Flagler County, graduated high school in Flagler County.
Plans to stay in Flagler County.
Went to college only 1 county away and is looking to stay in Flagler County. In our world, emergency management is so specialized. There are not a lot of emergency managers that work in the community that they grew up in because there's so few emergency management jobs out there.
All right. So now let's get down to business. I think the people out there probably feel much more confident knowing who's handling, who's designing, who's managing our emergency team out there. And I know there's a lot of other members of your team that bring those same qualifications in. But getting to know them, and maybe you guys will come back in the future and bring some of your others back. So again, the public can get to know them a little bit better. So who wants to start talking about our preparations?
Yes, preparedness is very important, especially now that we are in the thick of hurricane season. On our website, flaglercounty.gov/emergency, we have our preparedness guide. If you've seen us at an outreach event or if you've seen it in the government services building, we also have the emergency preparedness guide there. And in that guide, we highlight a lot of key points. There are 4 key steps that we recommend that people take. The first one is build a kit. Next is to make a plan, be informed, and then lastly, get involved. So I could start, or do you want to start with build a kit? We can go back and forth.
Yeah. So the first thing that we always tell our residents is to have a disaster kit. If you're a longtime Florida resident, everyone knows about having a hurricane kit. But as we've learned over the years, hurricanes aren't the only disaster that impacts us. We had COVID that lasted for a couple years. And for some reason, we lost all the toilet paper in this country. No valid reason at all. There was no lack of production. Everyone just wanted to stockpile. But that just proves a point. Having emergency supplies year round is super important. So we like to stress the fact that having a disaster kit year round, and don't just get rid of it because of hurricane season. And the key things in that kit, which you can get online at the full list, but some of the key things is having a week's worth of supplies that you can stay off the grid. So without electricity or running water, as long as your home is safe, and not have to rely on anybody else. So a week's worth of non-perishable foods. You don't have electricity or running water. You won't be able to store their food in a refrigerator unless you have a generator, but not everyone can afford a generator. So food that you don't have to cook necessarily, food that you don't have to keep refrigerated. But people sometimes overthink this, thinking they have to have nothing but cans. You start your kit with cans and boxed goods that have a long shelf life. But the good thing for us is our most likely scenario is a hurricane. Hurricanes give us notice. Fruit and vegetables, if they're stored on a shelf at the store, you can store them on a shelf at home.
Right.
You don't need to cook them. So you can have healthy things as well as part of your food. Bottled water, having a gallon per person per day of water in case your regular water system's not working is very important. I'm not expecting everyone to drink a gallon of water. I'm pretty sure I don't drink a gallon of water a day.
I know we should, but we don't.
Right, exactly. but a gallon's enough for basic hygiene, like brushing your teeth plus hydrating. And if there's no air conditioning, and things like hurricanes happen typically in the warmer months, big surprise, right? Then you're going to drink a little bit more anyway because your air conditioning's not working. So just that's a good number. Yeah. So we talk about food, talk about water, medications, making sure that people always have a week's supply of medications on hand. Typically, people refill their medication monthly, unless your insurance allows you to fill it every 90 days. And usually with monthly medication refills, you can only fill them 3 days in advance. So I get asked this question all the time because I say this all the time. How do I always have 7 days of medications because I don't know when the emergency is going to happen? Maybe it's the week I'm supposed to refill. So I tell people the way you work within the system or outsmart the system is if you're on monthly refills, this month you fill it 3 days early because that's the window you can get with the insurance. And then next month you fill it 3 days early because when you fill it 3 days early this month, your clock resets, so it's a month plus 3 days, right? The next month you fill it 3 more days early, the following month 3 days early, and then from that point forward, you're always filling it nine days early for your regular maintenance medication. So that's how you make the system work. So you can't do it immediately,
Right.
over a period of 3 months, and then from that point forward, and then if your doctor changes your medications, you got to reset that cycle. But that's the way around it. Now, if you can get 90-day prescriptions under your insurance, then that problem solved. 90, right? So thinking outside the box for things like that, making sure that you have flashlights with batteries. In the good old days, to have a useful flashlight, you had to have big D-cell batteries, and the flashlight was 1.5 feet long. Now you can get.
I still have some of those.
They serve as defense.
Paperweights.
Yeah, paperweights defense. But you can get a flashlight that's smaller than my phone, or even your phone, using AA batteries that's 10 times brighter than that flashlight you used to have those big D cells in. So flashlights don't have to be anything fancy anymore. Honestly, you can go to things like home shows and fairs and flea markets where they're giving them away as
Even our
advertising
outreach
material.
events. I think I gave them
Actually,
away
we
at the
give them away
business
at our-
meeting as well. Yeah.
We give them away at our events too because you can get them for less than.
I think I have one of yours in my briefcase out
Well,
there.
good. See,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
So having a flashlight, knowing how to turn off utilities in your home in case your home is damaged, having extra linen, extra clothes. If you can't do laundry, to always have a week's worth of clothes. Not everybody can afford to have a week's worth of clothes at all times. But think about it. As your clothes get a little looser, or with me, it's usually a little tighter, unfortunately, instead of throwing it away, putting them off to the side and put them in a tub, or they get a little hole in it. After a disaster, it's not a fashion show.
Definitely
So stuff
not.
you would have donated or thrown away, hold on to that, and that becomes your backup clothes. Wash it, put it in a container, and you're good to go. So thinking about things like that. Entertainment. The best of us get a little punchy when we can't get on the internet. So old-fashioned things like old-fashioned books and games, even for adults, are important.
A good deck of
during that week.
cards.
Yeah. And making sure that your records, this is a very big one because our whole world pushes us to put everything in the cloud. And I agree with everything in the cloud. But to access the cloud, you have to have electricity and an internet connection.
Exactly.
So some of the basic things like your medical records and your insurance records, highly, highly recommend that you keep paper copies of those as well and put them off into a plastic tub somewhere. Because if you need to go to the hospital or you're damaged to your home or your car and you need to call the insurance company and your first instinct is, oh, let me pull it off my phone. Oh, wait a minute. I don't have a signal. I can't pull it off my phone. I can't charge my phone. So actually taking a step back 10 years ago before everything was digital, keep both. Have a digital copy and an electronic copy. But then let's go back to digital again. After a storm or a big disaster, we lose electricity. We lose telephone lines. ATMs aren't going to work because ATMs need internet lines, telephone lines, and electricity. Credit card machines need all of those. A lot of our stores will open up. They will. If they're not damaged, they'll open up. The bigger stores like the Publixes, the Targets, the Walmarts, even some of our smaller mom and pop local owned stores have generators. They can get their store lit up so they can sell you things again, but it doesn't mean their credit card.
Exactly. Yeah.
So figuring out what we always recommend people is figure out what a week's worth of essential supplies cost you. Not entertainment, not your Netflix bill or whatever the heck that is, but your essential supplies. What do you need to live for a week cash? And put that away in your kit as well, or hide that somewhere in your home. People say, I just keep it in my wallet. I said, you keep it in your wallet, you're probably gonna be tempted to spend. So you need to go put it somewhere safe, not somewhere it can get stolen, but somewhere safe.
Somewhere we got to think about where to put it.
But we do
little
become,
bit.
gas stations open up again.
Yep.
But they become cash only frequently. So keep that in mind. A lot of our things in our economy get started again, but they start in a way that might be the way it was 30 or 40 years ago, where we're a cash only society. So keep that in mind that we may have to behave like we did decades ago. And then if you have children, if you have pets, having those same kind of things for your children and your pets as well. Or if you're taking care of infirm relatives, make sure you have extra supplies for taking care of their medical needs. So those are kinds of things that we talk about in the kit. And in our disaster guide, a much longer version of that's in there.
Yeah. Oh, I've reviewed it and I've looked at it in both the paper version I picked that I got from Kelly when she came to our group and your online, which is great.
And it's important to also know that that's kind of a guiding document. every household's different. You don't need to
Exactly.
compare yourself to your neighbors, because what your needs are for your household for that week off the grid are going to be different than your next door neighbor, and that's okay.
Definitely is. Definitely is. Kelly, you got more to add to that?
I just honestly, you covered it perfectly. I would honestly move on to making a plan next as a
Okay.
step. One of the things you can do is to create a communications plan for your family, just having a list of numbers of who you would contact in an emergency. Also making sure, I know kids and people my age and younger don't really know phone numbers, so helping your kids learn phone numbers, or even having a paper copy of this is mom's phone number, this is dad's phone number, this is grandma's phone number, that type of thing. More to making a plan is knowing where you will go when an emergency happens, where you will evacuate to. Some people may plan to go to a hotel nearby if they can afford it, or go to a hotel in Orlando if that's out of the way of the storm. Others may be able to plan to stay with a family member in a northern state and go up to New Jersey for the week.
That hurts. That hurts.
No New York, no New Jersey.
But making a plan is absolutely important, especially if you have somebody in your home who may be oxygen dependent, making a plan for them as well. If they haven't already, those who are dependent on oxygen or electricity can sign up for the special needs registry to go to our special needs shelter in the event of emergency if they need power on in order to live.
There's so many little things that you really don't think about it every day, because every day is normal.
Yeah.
It's there.
Take it for granted.
Yeah,
We're very spoiled.
exactly. But it is important to prepare.
Yes, to prepare all members of the household as well.
You got that right. I mean, we've been here now. I moved in '06, so we've been through a few storms. We only evacuated once, and that was predominantly because we had no power. And at that particular time, our repairers were getting behind the scenes. So we were blessed. We could go to my daughter, who lives outside of Orlando. They were already back up and operating, so that was it. We stayed there for like 3 or 4 days and then came back. And then I prepared for the next one by getting a generator, a whole house generator, so we didn't have to go through that stuff again. And that, since we did that, it's almost impossible for people today. The costs have tripled,
Oh, yeah. It's
have
insane.
actually gone just bizarre for the same equipment that we had. But even before that, I had a smaller generator that I could run, like the refrigerators for a while, and then I'd switch it to the freezer. Then I'd switch it to a couple fans that
That's
we
a
had
good hack.
inside,
Yeah.
and just
You can even get
rotate
small-
it through.
You can get small wheeled portable air conditioners now that they've dropped in price. That
Yeah.
a small generator might be able to run, and maybe that's what you run overnight while you're sleeping, if that
Yeah.
makes you comfortable, if you can afford that.
And then we were also blessed that I have a gas grill that sits on my lanai, which is safe to run it in the lanai. So we could do our cooking right there. So we didn't have to worry about electric power and stuff like that.
Most of us can find our way around these things, and they're inconveniences,
Oh, yeah.
not requirements. Though, again, Kelly mentioned the special needs registry. For some people, it is a requirement. Electricity is a requirement for certain people with medical needs, and that's why we want them to let us know their needs
In
so we can take
advance.
care of them. Yet the rest of us, yes, is no electricity and inconvenience. Is the whole reason we live in paradise, because of electricity and air conditioning.
You pretend you're
Of course.
camping.
Exactly.
That's it. I mean, my daughter's a clinical social worker for the VA. And one of her jobs is, when those things come up, is to do the same thing with their clients that have special needs and convince them to get someplace special early that can handle, if it's an oxygen, if they need power to survive, okay, and to get them to where they need to be in a safe time limit, so they're not going in the middle of trying to get down I-95 or 4 in the middle of a storm.
And,
So-
and Kelly made a good point about maybe staying with family or friends, and we've joked about New York or New Jersey, but that could also be somebody in town.
Yeah,
Let's say we're evacuating the beach for a smaller hurricane. All you have to do is cross the bridge and be out of the area being evacuated. You have a friend somewhere in one of the lettered sections in Palm Coast. Maybe you stay with them during a hurricane, and maybe when there's a wildfire that we have to evacuate, you go the other way and stay and spend on the beach. So you can make those kinds of arrangements with friends and family. It's not always about the hurricane. There could be a chemical release off of I-95, and we're evacuating the neighborhoods near I-95. And you call your friend that always stays with you during the hurricane, saying, "Hey, it's time to change this order. We're going to come hang out at the beach with you."
and that's right. I mean, those kinds of things that you can work in your head just to get ready for it.
And those costs
in case, and if they
Yeah.
never happen, it's
Great.
okay.
good. Knock on wood. Exactly.
It's all right.
And if it does, you're ready and you have the plan.
That is good. Well, I would encourage people that are listening to this. Number one, if you don't have the booklet, go online to Flagler Gov.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you just go to the Flagler County Gov, and the first thing comes up, and you see emergency
Yeah,
there, just
emergency
hit
management's there.
emergency.
Yep.
It'll bring you over
We're
to
right
that.
in the middle of the county's page.
Oh yeah.
And you know why
Right.
that is? It's because we're the most searched for department on the county's website. So that there are departments that have asked, well, how come emergency manager's right in the middle? They don't have emergencies all the time. It is truly based on the number of clicks, and we have the most clicks, so it's highlighted the most.
Yeah. Well, I would encourage people to go there, get it, look at it. You can download and print even pieces of it that
Yeah.
are important for you. It'll lay out how you put your plan
Yeah,
together.
we have
It lays
sample
out the things
templates in there of the
that
communications
Jonathan, you've
plan.
been talking about, the 5-day supply of this and the 5-day supply of that and the other things that,
That's what Kelly was just saying. The plan she was talking about, the communications plan, we actually have a one pager you print out, fill in the blank to help prompt you.
Yep.
You know, parents, doctor, insurance company, those kinds of things.
Yep.
And for those who like paper copies and can't print it out necessarily from the internet, all three libraries in the county have it. So the Flagler Beach Library, the Palm Coast Library, the Benell Library, all have copies of it. All of the city halls have copies, and the county administration building and our emergency operation all have copies available.
Yeah.
And honestly, if someone wanted us to mail one, we would mail it to them as well.
Mm-hmm.
and I found I was able to bring it up and to actually print it, a page. So I don't know if everybody can do, but be prepared. Either get a copy, print a copy, or go from there.
Yeah.
And
And I think Kelly mentioned it a little bit earlier, briefly talked about it, but we're at a lot, and you saw Kelly at an event, we're at a lot of events.
Mm-hmm.
And we're doing a lot of stuff with the business community right now. It's one of Kelly's projects that I'm very, very excited about and super happy where she's going with that program. But we're at places people don't necessarily think of to be visible. We are at the Palm Coast Concert Series, as long as it doesn't get rained out, because a lot of our residents are there. A lot of new residents go to that.
Yep.
Yesterday we were at Food Truck Tuesdays. We're to be at Food Trucks Tuesday. Starting in October, we're going to be at First Fridays in Flagler Beach.
Yeah.
We've been at some of the fairs or festivals the city of Benell puts on. So we try to go out to a lot of public events and you just go, what are you guys doing here? Just to get the word out and saying, hey, you live in our community, we'd like you to learn a little bit more about being prepared, because fortunately we live in paradise. Unfortunately, paradise comes with the potential of disasters.
it does. And I think when you start going to First Friday, I've been doing that with my nonprofit group, the Flagler County Drug Court Foundation. We've been doing that for years, and it is a good event. You might need some earplugs because the bands are loud, but the music is good. But you will get an opportunity to speak to a bunch of people there. And if you don't mind going to a smaller event sometimes, I've got one coming up again for our nonprofit, the Flagler County Drug Court Foundation. We call our Ride for Recovery, which is going to be November 1st. And it starts at Texas Roadhouse, but it ends out at the 2K Ranch out in Benell.
Yeah.
And there'll be a lot of folks out there
Wow.
that will offer you a free space if you'd like to do that
That'd be a
too.
great opportunity. We go to newcomers groups. We've been, we'll
Going to a bunch of Halloween events. There's a trunk or treat coming up.
Events, because honestly, the fire service taught it. You teach fire prevention to children, they teach it to their parents, or they become adults eventually. So we're trying to get in front of younger folks as well.
We were at the high school just the other
just
week.
recently,
Yeah.
The Student Government Association FPC invited us, and during lunch periods, for I guess an hour and a half lunch periods at FPC. That was yesterday, wasn't it? Or the day
Maybe a
before.
couple days ago.
We had one of our staff out there and getting information out to the high school kids.
Do you go out to the county outreach that they do twice a year? When the next one's coming up
The
in
cattlemen's. Yep.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, I did that
it's
one
coming
last
up
year.
was it next month? I think the middle
It's
of
soon.
the,
It is soon.
I think it's November 14th, something like that.
Well, they just
Is it?
sent the flyer out.
Yeah.
yeah. They just I don't know if it's
Yeah, I think
November
it's in
14
November.
or it's October 14. One of the two. We'll have to take a look.
It's definitely coming up.
I know it's a Friday. We've been doing.
We do that. We've done. I was just out at Beverly Beach's little tiny town hall. It's honestly, it's the smallest, but it's the best view of any town hall in our community because it looks at the ocean.
I will tell you that probably a great place to hand out the flyer. Okay, but your legs will be hurting by the end of the day. Is go out to Grace Community Food Pantry on a Saturday or Sunday. The amount of truck cars that go
Oh, yeah.
through that and just hand them out as they're going through, you will hit a lot. Because
we've done a lot of good stuff with them. In fact, we haven't really done outreach like that with them before. We've done a lot of great things with them.
Yeah.
They're
Wow.
a great partner with taking care of our.
They're super. They're super. I volunteered at the food pantry for about 5 years, and helped Pastor Solano open up the open door reentry and recovery ministry that they have for people in recovery, and work together with him on that. And yeah, I mean, they're feeding close to 12,000 Flagler residents a month.
Folks don't realize that.
No, they don't. So you could hit there on a Saturday, do a Saturday and Sunday, and hit 3,000 cars.
Yeah.
And
So
not have to stretch your legs because they come to you.
yeah, but you have to
Walk
be able
back
to
and
stand
forth.
up,
Yeah, you
walk
walk
up
up
and down
there,
the
yeah.
line. Yeah, you get them before they pick the food up. But that's those things are really cool, and we appreciate what you're doing here. So we're going to kind of get to the end today. Unless there's anything, if either of you have something that you want to finish up with, then
you
we'll
want
do
to-
that. We got a few
Yeah,
minutes.
that was just what I was thinking. In addition to the preparedness guides that we give out at our events, we also have been working on doing paper versions of signing up for Alert Flagler, which is our emergency alert service. It's completely free. You can access it on the website if you're tech friendly, just going through emergency management and then going to emergency alerts and making an account and signing up. Or for those who aren't as tech friendly, if you ever see us at an outreach event, we'll have a stack of paper signups for Alert Flagler.
Right. Well, I get those text messages.
They're very important. In the good old days when there was a white pages, we had access to everybody's phone numbers because everyone had home phones. And we got a digital version of that so we could call you. In today's world where everybody's using these wonderful phone devices, we don't inherently have access to your phone number. We may through utility records, but that's not a guarantee. So we need you to give us your address and your phone number so that we can call you when there's emergencies. Now, in that Alert Flagler system, if you're really into weather, you can sign up for dozens of weather alerts. I wouldn't recommend signing up for dozens.
No,
No.
A lot
some
of our
of those
eager-
have to find out how to
Yeah.
cancel.
A lot of our eager
Yeah.
new subscribers go down that path. Like, I want to check off everything. And within about a week, they realize really quick, I don't want to check off.
Yes.
But the good thing is once you give us your info, if something's impacting your neighborhood or any of the addresses you give us, because you may give us a home address, a work address, a children's school address, we can now reach you. So, but we need you to give us that info because the world has changed. We need you to give us that information so we can reach you.
Definitely.
Yes. There's
Alright.
like 5 or 6 default weather alerts. And then you're also able to set quiet hours if you want to say, hey, I do not want to be notified of random things between 11 p.m. and 6 a.m. And
But if it might hurt you or worse, we ignore.
yeah,
we
a
ignore the quiet hours.
tornado alert will go through the quiet hours. But for any other alert, yeah.
Okay. Well, great. I just appreciate you both taking the time to come in this morning. I think we'll improve this as we go on. I'm not the quickest here on the cameras and stuff, so when you see this, you might hear Jonathan talking and just see me or see Kelly when it's supposed to be the other way around. But the information is going to get out there. And like I said, myself and my partner, Alan, feel that if we can help get more people aware of what they need to be aware and prepared for, we're both residents here. We live here. We care about our community. We care about the people here. So if we can be an assistance in doing that, that's what we'd like to do. So if we can plan to maybe, like I said, maybe come in next month or something and bring somebody else in from your department, do some other kind of conversation planning on those kinds of things, especially until we get through the season.
Each of our staff
Specializes in a
specializes
different
in
area.
a couple of programs, so they could probably talk primarily on their program. I
Mm-hmm.
can be here as a comfort next to them, but let them talk about their program. And I think we can explore things. That would be great to kind of explore things out.
Well, I think that'd be fine because, again, the more information that we can get out, and the one big advantage we have in this here, when we put this out, and this will probably go out in a couple of days, maybe Monday or so, Alan will have to go through and do a little editing and stuff to correct some of my
Make
junk.
us look pretty.
Yeah, well, we can do what we can do. But getting that out to the public, and then it's there. You're welcome to use it as often as you want to use it.
Thank you.
Yeah, we could probably
Okay.
flip it for Tuna
The-
Tuesday.
the-
Clip it in social media, we can when
Yep.
you post it, we can say
Yeah,
thank you to you guys, and then tag you at the same time.
that's cool. But get it out to what we encourage people that come in and do their businesses here is not only are we getting it out on our platforms, but you can get it out on your platforms. And the further you get it out, the
That
better
is the
the
best
spread.
part with the technology. Technology has some of its drawbacks, but
Yeah, well, most of the
Social
drawbacks
media
to
is-
technology are the technology workers,
The users.
the abusers. But and I tell people I'm not a high tech person. I left IBM in 1969. Okay, and I was an administrator. I wasn't a computer guy. I wasn't a tech guy. You know, I had a typewriter, and that was kind of it back then. So, yeah, getting information out is so important. And I know you guys are very aware of that because of what you do. So again, we'd like to thank you for being with us today. And again, this is Mike Feldbauer coming to you from the Flagler Voice podcast studios here in Palm Coast. We hope you all have a great day.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.